Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today because we're unpacking something truly fascinating. We're looking at the Natesh Art Foundation, but not just as your standard cultural institution. We're exploring its completely unique structural model. It's this wild blend of traditional cultural preservation and a step-by-step pathway to becoming, literally, your own boss in the arts. Let's get right into it.
So can supporting the arts actually make you your own boss? I mean, it sounds almost too good to be true, right? Usually when we think of donating to a cultural foundation, we picture writing a check, getting a nice thank you letter, and, well, that's pretty much the end of the transaction. But today, we're going to peel back the layers of what initially looks like a totally standard charity donation and reveal this fascinating system designed to financially reward highly active participation and community building.
Section 1. A Mission for the Arts.
Okay, let's dive into this. To truly understand how this entrepreneurial model works, we've got to first look at the foundation's core mission and its baseline entry point. Because before you can become a leader, everything has to start with a foundational commitment to the arts themselves. The starting line is incredibly accessible, and it begins with just 500 rupees. That's the annual patron membership fee. It's purposefully modest, set nice and low to make sure that virtually anyone who cares about cultural preservation can step up and get involved without hitting a massive financial wall. And what does that 500 rupees actually do? At face value, it's a super straightforward, noble contribution. Your patron fee goes directly toward the promotion and preservation of Indian classical dance, music, art, culture, and heritage. Notice the very specific, tangible causes we're talking about here. Scholarships for deserving students, vibrant cultural festivals, vital rural and community outreach, heritage preservation projects, and artist development programs. So right from day one, it establishes a really solid, transparent philanthropic mission.
Section 2, the Ambassador Referral Program.
Let's move on and see how this builds, because here is where the story takes a sharp turn from standard philanthropy into something much more entrepreneurial. The foundation actively encourages every patron member to introduce 5 new members. For every successful referral, you receive a 100 rupee referral appreciation reward. The math is beautifully simple. Pay your 500, refer 5 friends, and boom, you earn a 500 rupee appreciation reward in return. You effectively recovered your own annual membership fee while simultaneously expanding the foundation's cultural reach. You hit the break-even point purely by sharing the mission.
Now, the foundation is crystal clear about the nature of this system. As the source policy explicitly states, the program is designed to recognize community-building efforts, not to provide investment or passive income. This is not about sitting back on your couch and watching numbers tick up automatically on a screen. The goal at this initial level is strictly about expanding the cultural mission through grassroots networking and recovering your own entry fee through that active effort.
Beyond that initial 500 rupee reward, members who keep introducing new patrons unlock what the foundation calls growth rewards. These are primarily non-financial perks that keep you engaged early in your journey. We're talking about priority registration for workshops, discounts on foundation events, exclusive members-only cultural sessions, recognition certificates, and special souvenirs. It's all about building a dedicated, highly engaged community right out of the gate.
Section 3. Climbing the Cultural Ladder.
Now, what's really interesting about this next part is what happens if you don't stop at 5. What if you're highly motivated and bring in 25, or 50, or even 100 new members? Notice how clearly this maps out your potential progression. Look at these lower tiers. At 25 referrals, you become a cultural ambassador and unlock an additional 1,000 rupee appreciation bonus. Hit 50, you're a heritage promoter with a 2,500 rupee bonus. At 100 referrals, as a Kala Mitra, you receive a 5,000 rupee honorarium specifically earmarked for community outreach. And at 250 referrals, you reach the Kala Sevik level, which comes with a foundation blazer and a 10,000 rupee project honorarium. Notice how quickly the scale tips from simple appreciation bonuses to actual operational project funding. Section 4. Be your own cultural boss.
Let's just pause and think about this for a second. Imagine yourself climbing this ladder. You started with a simple 500 rupee donation, and through pure networking and active community organizing, you're now being compensated to execute project work. You are well on the path to becoming your own cultural boss. And as we look at these upper tiers, the scale jumps massively. A Sanskrita champion with 500 referrals earns a 20,000 rupee annual performance honorarium. A Sanskrita leader at 1,000 referrals sees a leadership honorarium of 40,000 to 50,000 rupees. And if you reach 2,500 referrals, you become a heritage guardian, unlocking a serious project leadership honorarium between 75,000 and 100,000 rupees. We have completely shifted away from small thank you gifts into serious professional-level project compensation.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale of the program's upper ceiling. To become a national cultural ambassador, you need a staggering 5,000 referrals. But look at the corresponding reward, a $150,000 annual fellowship or consultancy honorarium. This aggressive numerical escalation shows how a simple, highly accessible 500 rupee entry fee can theoretically scale into a highly compensated $150,000 national consultancy role for the foundation. No way, right?
But wait, the absolute peak of this journey is the NAF patron legend. If you somehow secure 10,000 or more referrals, you don't just get a larger check. You are offered a custom fellowship, a board advisor role, or an annual honorarium approved directly by the governing body. Through sheer volume of community building, a member literally elevates themselves to the governing board advisory level of the foundation itself. You have reached the ultimate boss level.
Section 5. The fine print of rewards.
All right. Before we get completely lost in the excitement of these massive, eye-catching numbers, we need to firmly ground ourselves and look at the fine print. How does this system actually operate legally and practically when dealing with these large payouts? Well, the foundation's policy explicitly states, these amounts should only be paid where the member is performing real services and should be documented and approved according to the foundation's policies and applicable laws. This is absolutely crucial. It completely neutralizes any idea that this is just some pyramid of passive income where you recruit a bunch of people and sit back to collect checks. To get paid these larger honorariums, you actually have to do the work.
So what exactly qualifies as real services in this context? The source documents lay this out very clearly. We are talking about active outreach, event management, volunteer coordination, training, fundraising, and actual project leadership. The higher you climb that referral ladder, the more operational responsibility you take on. The honorariums aren't just prizes for referring people, they are direct compensation for the actual management and execution of the foundation's cultural mission. It is a highly structured, accountable pathway to becoming a working, compensated cultural project leader.
So, the crucial point is understanding this distinct difference. On one side, you have the concept of passive recruiting, just getting people to sign up and doing literally nothing else. On the other side, you have active cultural leadership. The Natesh Art Foundation structure strictly demands the latter. To unlock those boss-level payouts and leadership titles, you must provide documented, real-world services. Thousands of referrals, they simply open the door. Your actual, documented work is what secures the compensation.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer and leaves us with a truly fascinating question to ponder. Looking at this entire structure, from the incredibly accessible 500 rupee entry all the way up to those 150,000 rupee consultancy fellowships and board advisory roles, is this the ultimate modern way to sustainably self-fund the arts through massive community engagement? Or is it a brilliant entrepreneurial ladder, cleverly disguised as traditional philanthropy? Perhaps it's just a masterclass in blending both. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I highly encourage you to keep exploring this fascinating intersection of community organizing and entrepreneurship. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.